Hi everybody, welcome back to Sending Ravens. How's everybody doing? I'm doing good. I wanted to do a little checkup on what's going on with the election process, which was, in my opinion, wrongly called by the media in Joe Biden's behalf, which is absolutely, as far as I'm concerned, illegal what the media did. Because there's so many things, fishy and wrong with that election process. And I want to look at how's the Trump team doing as far as those lawsuits they have in the Supreme Court and or evidence that apparently they have to bring out. Like, is that going to be what they need? How's that going to go? Now, we did have those retrogrades right during the election process itself and right up till Friday the 13th, the last big retrograde shifted into direct Mars and a whole bunch of other alignments apparently that could be helpful to discovering truth and whatever really needs to happen for the people of the world and American people in particular, as far as like democracy and process being clear and honest. Because really the real issue is, are we going to let a group of people actually steal an election? Because that's what it looks like they're doing or trying to do. So let's have a look. And I believe, and according to sources that are out there, apparently Donald Trump knew this was coming and was prepared, and I've seen that in the cards as well, and it looks like his team is trying to prove a point with all of this. They knew it was coming, and they could have cried foul before it all went down, but this is part of taking down false medias and corrupt governments. Apparently. So let's see if that's what we're getting still, right? Because you got to keep up to date with these things in the cards. So we're going to start with just where does everything sit around that whole process and just see what we get. Sorry, my son's texting me. I gotta check this out. He's okay. When your child texts you, you always have to pay attention. Okay. Now, I think we're having a little trouble with the visuals here. See? You might have to make your screen bigger just to see these cards. Okay, so we've got the Queen of Swords. That's coming up as around the election in general. So the Queen of Swords, she's all about justice. She's not that emotional. She's more about detached justice. And this is what I've been hearing anyway, that the Donald Trump team is all about, apparently, right? They're not even taking it personally because they knew this was going to happen. They're actually, although when you see some of the things on television, especially if you're watching mainstream media, it looks like they are, and it looks like they're just throwing a tantrum. But apparently they're not, and this card would agree with that. They are going for, and they do seem to have some very clear evidence going forward. Queen of Swords and the Ace of Swords, a lot of clarity and honesty there. Okay, an ace. So yes, right? Okay, so they've got their big swords out and they're ready to fight, but we've got the devil. So they're fighting the devil. So the devil being, I believe, the deep state, which has definitely got their hands all over this whole thing. my belief is, unfortunately, the Democratic Party was basically hijacked by the deep state. So the New World Order, as well as many, many governments all over the world, by the way, and many world organizations, UN, WHO, clearly have an agenda. And the agenda is not for humans, okay? It's for demonic purposes, as far as I'm concerned, and against the human race, frankly. Okay, look into Agenda 21, etc. Okay, so it looks like that's what's really they're fighting. So they're not really fighting literally the election process per se, and or the Democratic Party per se. If they were a legit party, they're actually, and they are of course a legitimate party, except they've been hijacked, especially the higher ups have been hijacked. And somebody mentioned that a lot of Republicans are also in this demonic sort of cult-like activity. Absolutely, absolutely. So there's that essence that they're fighting. They're fighting the silent war, and the media is being used on the side of the deep state, you know. So the media is in there being used because they're literally owned really by the deep state. And that's how big this is. Okay. So, but we have some really big truths and some absolutely detached directness coming in. So these are really strong, but what they're fighting is powerful, obviously, as well. And it seems endless amounts of finances, just throwing money at all kinds of things, peoples, and just anything they can do, deep state, to sort of throw chaos into the whole situation. We've seen that going on. I mean, think about it. The whole pandemic is a perfect it's a perfect year for that, because there's the elections. So the pandemic created the opportunity to have mail-in, lots of mail-in. And I know some years they have the mail-in, but this gave an opportunity to have a huge amount of and get away with a huge amount of mail-in voting, which of course is very suspect. And there's been a lot of issues connected to that, and connected to the whole the voting machines. There's all kinds of things going on. Now, be careful though, because some stories that are coming out are just what Jason Goodman calls, misinformation on purpose. He calls it social engineering, right? So they're trying to make the people on the side of justice and getting justice for this election looking like tinfoil hat crazy conspiracy theorists. So we need to be careful what we're listening to. If it sounds really far-fetched, you know what I mean? And it's hard, but we're going to need to use our intuition and really check in with ourselves. And don't get on any bandwagons until we're absolutely sure, right? Okay, so we do have an ace. So things are going to turn around. For justice in the world, we've got an Ace of Pentacles. That's really good news. The Ace of Pentacles. We've got the Empress. So on the side of the goddess, remember, I get Trump as somehow the goddess herself, energetically, the sacred feminine, is using or utilizing Trump's team. I know it sounds nuts. Maybe it's his karma. I don't know. But somehow he's being used for that. And it's really weird, because when I did past life readings on him, and I think I've done 2 or 3, I always got that he was a woman in past lives. So that's really weird. Anyway, he's being sort of channeled through, or his team. And I believe there's some white hats behind him. I really believe it. So call me crazy, but yeah, that's just what I get. Okay, so we've got this Ace of Pentacles. It's all going to get turned around and come really into, it's going to come into fruition where justice prevails. We need patience. We're 3/4 the way through. We've got this 80% card. That might even be more than 3/4, 80%. So things are in the background being worked out that are actually going to, it looks like, really get this to turn around on the behalf of justice. So whatever true justice is, and whatever that real count is, I think they're going to come to it. It's going to take time, a little more time still. Let's look at the timing. let's look at when can we expect this. I know that there's a lot more details and the way the election process happens in the States. Somebody sent me a lot of details about it, and I'm not going to go into it here because I'll probably muck it up because I have a kind of a bad memory for details, as a lot of my viewers know. It's true, I know. Okay, but I'm not trying to be a politician or a political sort of knowledgeable person. I'm not trying to present that way at all. I'm a tarot card reader, and I'm just trying to read the cards around a really complex situation and simplify it, hopefully being helpful to viewers, hopefully. So let's also have a look at just the timing. Let's just look at that. Let's see. So timing, got the Queen of Cups and Strength. Strength's a major arcana card, so it's going to take more time. Yeah, so I'm going to be right away. We've got the Six of Cups in the past, so there's this calmness. Like I said, the Trump team knew this was coming and really had the heads up about this. So they seem really calm about the whole process, even though it seems a little alarming, what with their one legal team stepping away, all these scary rumors. Don't forget that a lot of your information or misinformation is coming from the mainstream, who've hated Donald Trump from day one because he's not in the pocket of their bosses. So they're literally, like, if you look at CNN, if you look at now Fox, we could throw Fox in there because there's a whole bunch of people that have really, it seems like, hijacked Fox News as well to the negative. There's a few good apples left in that cart, but it's looking like more and more like Fox News is definitely in there with the rest of the mainstream media. I mean, look at who owns them. Look at who they're connected to. But Canadian news, lots of very large world news, BBC, of course, and just a lot of misinformation out there. And of course, they never report any wins on Donald Trump's side. So I just want you to be aware of that and just pay attention to that, okay? And that may be why there's calmness in the Trump team here. There's calmness, okay? But there's also they're getting a little tired, even though they're strong enough to carry all the way through. It looks like it's a little tiring, okay? It's a little emotionally draining. We've got the Four of Cups here. I'm thinking about 4. We've got 2 4s more weeks. So we've got another, it looks like it's going to be December. Sometime in December. And I did hear that there's some kind of vote that happens in December. Is it the Electoral College vote? Honestly, I don't know the details about that. So if you know, write it in the comments. That would be awesome. But it feels like that group is really going to hand a big win here. Let's keep looking. That'll move things towards justice and even create some celebration in the Trump team. It'll flip it, literally flip it. We've got the Wheel of Fortune. That's a flipping card. The Wheel of Fortune, I'll just put it up a little higher. Wheel of Fortune flips everything. So what appears a certain way, so everything flips for the Biden team. And what appears like Biden's big win turns into a loss. That's what I'm getting. So I'm solidly getting that. Wow. So we've got, yeah. And it's going to be a lot of hard work. It's going to be a lot of hard work, and most of any wins that the Trump side has is going to be buried by the mainstream. They're not going to actually talk about any of this in the positive sense. So don't panic. Okay, I had a few panicky emails, and I get it, but we need to stay strong. We need to stay our hearts open to have a mantra that says the very right thing for the world and humanity and the goodness of humanity going forward is going to happen, period. You don't have to say one side or the other. It doesn't matter what side you're on. Are you on the side of justice prevailing? and a democratic vote going forward. Do we want to see that for the US, but also the world going forward? Because this could be a huge example for the rest of the world. They all use these voting systems. Like things need to change at a really deep level in accountability here. And we need to just stay firm with our mantra that assumes that the right thing for the world and the betterment of the human race, democracy, and a system that we can trust, we the people can trust, and isn't just in the favor of politicians and a few handfuls of people, usually very wealthy people, okay, who are against the rest of us humans, right? So we want this to be for the good of the human race, us, the people. Okay, so if our mantra just says that then the right thing's going to happen. And mantras are really important because the world creates itself vibrationally. And if we all vibrate from a heart center that intends and visualizes the best thing for humanity, for the human race going forward, for honesty and integrity, if we call for that, then that happens. And the rest of the details don't matter. That's how you want to. Mantras don't need to be detailed. They need to talk about the big outcome that's for the good of whatever it is you're looking for the good of. Okay, so we're not looking for the good of a few handfuls of elitists who've been trying to rule the world and take it all over. Okay, we're looking for the good of humanity and the general population and people going forward, honesty and integrity. And whoever that is, that's who we want to win this election. And that's what we want to happen going forward. Thank you so much for watching my video. Please like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already. And thanks and hello to all the new subscribers. Thank you so much for coming on board to Sending Ravens. Bye-bye.